Yo, 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 what's good? It's Friday. Happy Friday, y'all. So real quick, I keep my ears to these YouTube streets like I'm selling them drugs in them streets, right? I keep my ear to these YouTube streets like, you know, they're my physical ops. And I just want to make it clear. You're goofy as hell if you think Amir or Poochie killed Biggie. You're goofy. If you still think and believe in the Gina Deal theory, the Greg Bacon theory, because remember, Greg Bacon, he said it's Poochie. Gina Deal, the biggest bitch on YouTube, said it's Amir, and he didn't even see the shooting. He heard. Oh, Gina heard the shooting, right? Lil Cease gave a sketch. Looks nothing like Amir, but because Gina Deal did deals with the DEA, I believe that's why they went with his motive first, or they went with his narrative or his theory first. But you're goofy. You're a goofy as hell if you believe any of those. You're goofy. Your ninjas is goofy. You on internet putting that foot. It's 2026. You're goofy. You're goofy. First of all, if we're gonna keep it 100, I said it only makes sense. It only makes sense that Biggie was killed in retaliation for the New York shooting. That's the only theory that makes sense throughout this whole Biggie situation. And this is not even a Biggie channel, but I'm going to call you ninjas goofy. Anybody that believes the Poochie theory, you're goofy. You believe the Amir Muhammad theory, you're goofy. Period. Bro, you're goofy. And you need to grow up, and you need to go check in. You need to get evaluated on a serious note. Because if you believe it was Poochie, you believe the murder crap theory. When everybody with common sense know that Biggie was killed in retaliation for the New York shooting, and Snoop Dogg, according to Gina Deal, that the biggest bitch on YouTube, he said Snoop was hunting Biggie down. And I believe it was Puff. I believe that was all Puff dropping locations. Drop comments below. Yeah, I believe so. Even when Keefe D tells a story about the El Rey Theater, like how in the world, like somebody got to say, wait a minute, how did Snoop and the Dog Pound end up at a Biggie concert? Biggie performing Who Shot You? But wait a minute, didn't you guys get shot at? You guys just got shot at. So what are you doing at a Biggie concert? Oh, they was rocking that Ninja Biggie to sleep. That's the only theory that really makes sense to me. It was a retaliation, and we was very clear that the handicapped rapist YouTuber Reggie Wright Jr., right? The handicapped rapist Reggie Wright Jr., he admitted that Bad Boy called right way security hours before Biggie got shot. That's the only theory to me that really makes sense, that the handicapped rapist YouTuber Reggie Wright Jr., who was there at the New York shooting, Veggie was there. He was there, y'all. Put yourself in Reggie's wheelchair. I love that. Put yourself in Reggie's wheelchair for 1 second. Hey, put yourself in Reggie's wheelchair for 1 second and think about it. What would Reggie Wright Jr. do if he was caught up in the Biggie Smalls radio hit? That's the only theory that makes sense. They could have, if Poochie, again, you're goofy as fuck if you believe that Poochie killed Biggie. Now, the Amir Muhammad theory is ridiculous. It never made sense. It don't even fit the description of the Little Cheese sketch. Russell Poole said, "Oh, he saw the sketch and he saw Amir and his heart jumped out his chest." You know, I believe Russell was like, Russell seemed like the type that all black ninjas look the same, even in the sketch, right? And again, Russell Poole, in the end, he 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 allegedly had it right, but he was on the right path. And Russell Poole believed that Reggie Wright Jr. and Suge Knight killed Biggie. So, that's another theory. And, we was very vocal. People was saying, oh, they see, hold on. According to these YouTube streets, niggas was saying, oh, that's Mac. That's Kevin Gaines at the, that's Kevin Gaines at the Peterson Museum. That's Gaines that they see. Right? Ninjas was trying to say, oh, that's Kevin Gaines they see at the Peterson. I didn't hate. Bro, I didn't hate. I didn't hate, y'all. Right? But what we saying, we saw. Salute. Forgive me if the connection is kind of choppy. I'm trying to give y'all great content. Well, we were saying, we didn't hate. People were saying, oh, they see Mac, they see Gaines right here in front of the Peterson. We didn't hate. I said, okay, if y'all see Gaines, we see Mac and Perez right here. In the first season, I was very vocal before they took down the first season. We said at the Peterson, we saw somebody that looked just like David Mack and Perez. And behind him, that girl is Teresa Swan. Suge's baby mom is right there. Right there. That's what we were saying. She was right behind these ninjas. And then you see somebody dressed in red. He looks like he was Paru. I didn't hate. If y'all want to say this is Gaines, cool. I never throw shade. I never threw shade, y'all. But we said we see Mac and Perez right here. And Teresa Swan was right with them. That's what we said. You're goofy if you believe the Poochie theory. It just don't add up. The Amir theory does not add up. Can we just make sense? Can we just make this make sense? Let's keep it 100. And I just ask y'all, in the 2026 season of the new era Discretion 304 TV, all I'm saying, use your common sense. If let's just start with Amir. If Amir really shot Biggie, wouldn't you think the handicapped rapist YouTuber would have went with the Amir Muhammad theory? It's easy to blame Amir. Bro, it is easy to blame this guy Amir. Reggie don't have to say it's Poochie. It's easier to blame Amir Muhammad. It's easier, y'all, for Pork Butt and Greg Bacon to put it all on Amir. But no. Right? They blame Poochie for shooting, knowing it was professional shooters, not professional shooters, but police shooters, right? They blame Poochie, and all of a sudden Poochie was assassinated Little Cheese gave a sketch. Lil Cease looked like, yo, whoever did the Little Cheese sketch, though, let's keep it 100. These cops were trolling. Now we in the 2026 season. Doesn't this guy, that Little Cheese sketch, doesn't he look like Little Cheese? Wait a minute. Let me find out the sketch artist was like, I'm going to draw you, Cease. Unbelievable. Right? Yeah, you're goofy if you believe the Poochie theory and the Amir theory. Like, seriously, it's fucking. Yeah, I believe the same hit crew that they've been protecting. Now that we know that there's missing evidence in the Tupac Keefe D file box, there's missing evidence, and there's LAPD missing evidence. Yeah, I believe it's more heading towards Mac and Perez, Suge's hit crew. According to Keefe D, this is Suge's hit crew. I believe, and look, this theory is just, wait a minute, these guys, again, I believe we spotted them at the Peterson right here, and that girl behind them, whether you want to say that's Suge's baby moms or not, that's on y'all. We believe there's a female with these guys, and she's possibly one of Suge's baby moms, if you want to believe that theory to that extent, right? I just believe Mac and Perez was spotted. If y'all want to say Kevin Gaines was spotted, that's on y'all. We believe Sharita Knight's Monterio Jeep was also spotted on camera. I did a topic on that in the first season. We'll bring it back to light. Right? We believe that also, hold on. Yeah, you're goofy as fuck if you believe the Poochie or the Amir theory. Like, seriously, like, not the only theory that's really solid is the retaliation for the New York shooting with Snoop Dogg, and the way Snoop was hunting down Biggie, and then Right Way Security, the handicapped rapist YouTuber Reggie Wright Jr., he gets a call. That's the only theory that makes sense. You know, Biggie gets shot, the Impala dips off. The biggest bitch on YouTube, he lied and said, the Gina Dill, that the Impala, he chased it up the hill. There was no mystery hill, right? I took y'all there myself, right? And we showed y'all there's no hill. And not even knowing that Gina Dill was already debunked. So I don't know why would Gina, mislead people that's interested in the Biggie case, but the only theory that's really making sense is Snoop Dogg wanted his revenge. Reggie Wright Jr. was there, so he wanted his revenge. And yeah, that's just my intro. 21 gun salute. It's Friday, y'all. What's good? Nigel, salute. My bro, Joseph, salute, my bro. Dagoa, what's good? Salute. Monterio, what's good? Salute. Cynthia, what's next? Cynthia, what's going on? Hell Jar, what's good? Salute. If you just tapping in, I'm just setting the record straight. I'm just gonna be for real. You're goofy if you believe that Poochie or Amir shot Biggie. Yeah, that's ridiculous, B. Right? And these ninjas is foul. These crooked cops, they're foul. They never started blaming Poochie until Poochie died. Bro, they never started blaming Poochie until Poochie was assassinated. That's why I believe even the Poochie assassinations needs to be federalized and investigated. Like, yo, wait a minute. What really happened to Poochie? Like, who orchestrated the Poochie hit? Drop comments below. Yeah, man. It's Friday, y'all. What's good? So, again, I was very vocal about in the first season about what I believe that how Big got caught up and how Big, Biggie, he got caught lacking. Biggie went to the radio. He was literally asking for it. Big should have never went to the radio with that nonsense. It was total nonsense what Biggie did. Total nonsense, y'all. Right? Salute, y'all. What's going on? Yeah. Let's call it as we hear it. Let's call it as we see it. If you just tapping in, it's Friday, y'all. And yeah, these ninjas is really goofy, man. They really trying to like make y'all not even look at the fact that the shooting of Biggie is a retaliation from Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound and Reggie Wright Jr. They not even talking about that being a theory. That's why it's like, damn, B. Like, seriously? Right? How? And and that's crazy. Bro, Gina Dill, the biggest bitch on YouTube, and his hoe, his 304. Remember, where is these two goofies? Hold on. These two goofy ass ninjas. Hold on. Here you go. These two lovers, right? These guys right here. These two ex-lovers. They're the reason why the Biggie case won't get solved and the Tupac case won't get solved because one has all the police files from, right? These two ex-lovers right here, right? They went shopping together, and every 5 minutes, right? These two same ninjas, right? They turn YouTubers. They're the ones, and they're the reasons why a lot of people are misled, and they were being misled. These two hoe ass ninjas, B. These ninjas went shopping together. They ate at each other's house. Gina was cooking for this nigga, right? These two hoe ass ninjas. They the reasons, B. They're the motherfucking reasons, right? These two ninjas, Gina Dill, he believes that it was Amir Muhammad, right? And according to Gina Dill, Amir Muhammad asked him for a cigarette. Right? These two homos in the game, bro. These two bitch ass ninjas, bro. Right? And Gina Dill, he knows this nigga was a mook in jail. This fucking crackhead. Right? Went to the 16 or Better show. Jack Thriller was calling him a crackhead. He think I forgot. Choke, I've never talked about that. You went to the 16 or Better show and they was calling you a bum. Right? These two ninjas, Gina Dill know this ninja is a hoe ass ninja, right? And he still took this nigga shopping and they disgusting. They cook for each other, right? Right? These two lovebirds right here, right? Look like they the reasons why the Amir Muhammad and the Poochie theory won't die out. Yeah, they the reasons, right? And then this dude, this goofus right here, I was very vocal. This goofball right here, right? I told y'all. This goofball right here, Michael Carlin, right? He's goofy. I told y'all, Michael Carlin needs to be subpoenaed, tased, beaten, gagged, dragged, and handcuffed. Because these are the guys, they're the reasons why the Biggie and the Tupac case will never be solved. Bro, they the reasons. Bro, they are the reasons. Michael Carlin, who set Pool up to die and lined Pool up, and then he interviewed Suge Knight after. Wait a minute, why you ain't interview Suge before you lined up Pool? That don't make sense. Michael Carlin interviewed Suge and said, "Oh, the whole Biggie thing, you was in jail, and it was impossible for you to get a phone." Wait a minute, when did you turn a detective, Michael? Again, these goofballs, they're the reason why these two homicides are not solved. And this guy, right? And this guy right here. They think they detectives, bro. It's unbelievable. So this guy, carpet face, Mr. N-word himself, Mr. Carpet Head, right? He gives the Chichi Man, the Bati Boy YouTuber, right? He gives this guy, I don't know what he thought this was, right? Learn from your mistakes, right? Ridiculous. He gives this guy all the police files, and this guy with him, his ex-lover, they are passing the Amir theory. So, again, these cases will never get solved, bro. They will never get solved. Lil Cheese, his sketch doesn't even fit Poochie, doesn't fit Amir. Gina Dill, the biggest bitch on YouTube, he didn't even see the gun. According to Gina, when he tells the story, I think he said Tone saw the gun out and somebody waving a gun. He didn't even see the gun out. So how are you a witness? Just because you smoked a cigarette, according to Gina Dill, the alleged the alleged Amir Muhammad came to him and asked him for a cigarette, and Gina gave him a cigarette out the hard pack, no puff on the replay, because he said he gave Biggie a cigarette out the soft pack. He didn't want to give Big a cigarette from the good pack. I don't know. They got hard pack cigarettes and soft packs if you're a cigarette smoker. So according to Gina Dill, he said, look, Biggie was asking him for a cigarette out the good pack, right? But he didn't want to give it to Biggie. But as soon as Amir stepped up to him, he gave it to, I don't know, man, right? These ninjas is clowns, bro. If you just tapping in this Friday, I'm doing what I always do, go live for you guys. And I'm sitting back, I'm like, yo, wait a minute. You're goofy if you believe Amir Muhammad and Poochie killed Biggie, or Amir Muhammad or Poochie killed Biggie. It doesn't make sense, because I believe the handicap rapist YouTuber, right, this guy, he would have went with the Amir Muhammad theory. But you know why Reg ain't go with that theory? And they blame Poochie, one of Suge Bros, because Reggie had his hands involved. And it's easier for Reggie to cover it up, cover his tracks and blame Poochie, than Amir Muhammad that's living, and Amir can defend himself, right? So it was just easier for these guys to actually um, blame the dead man, Poochie, if that makes sense. If you just tapping in YouTube, what's good? Get the likes up for me. Um, it's Friday, and again, I'm like, yo, wait a minute. I'm just going over the facts, and I'm saying, wait a minute, man. These ninjas is goofy, bro. Michael Carlin, he needs to be handcuffed, beaten, tortured, tased, gagged. Yeah, Michael Carlin, he deserves a beatdown. Like, seriously. What y'all talking about in the chat? I try to stay focused. Hell job. What are y'all talking about? Yo, no love was good. No love was going on. Yo. It's in the Bahamas. It's the Bahamas Independence, Val. And chat. Oh, Helljar, are you in the Bahamas? Helljar, are you in the Bahamas? If you just tapping in, what's good with y'all, yo? So, yeah, again, the Keefe D files. Oh man, they got mad music down there popping. The Keefe D files, the 4,000 pages of lies and corruption and cover up and deceitfulness. Um, can I get that on the screen? It's freaking Bati boy. Can I get that on the screen for you guys? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, so the 4,000 pages from the keep from Greg Caden's box, um, you know, I believe that the only the only thing Greg Caden did was take out all of the other suspects, any files that consist of any other suspects, and just left the Keefe D accusations on, so Keefe D could be blamed, and all the crooked cops that was involved or was blamed. I think Greg Bacon, because for LA, again, it's sad, B, that they saying evidence is missing. Hold on, Bocce Boy Puff. They saying evidence is missing, right? It's just sad. They saying evidence is missing and it's from the LAPD, but this is, they saying it's Vegas case, but files are missing and it's LAPD files. So, but what about the Biggie case, right? If files is missing for the pot case, can you imagine what they did to the Biggie case? Again, you're goofy as fuck if you still believe Amir and Poochie, Amir or Poochie, had anything to do with the shooting. These guys have been tampering with with all the case files for years. These guys, I'm talking about Michael Carlin, the Bati Boy YouTuber Choke, RJ Pork Shoulder, Mike Dorsey, the Dwarf. Those guys have been interfering with this case for a while, B. So, you know, It's just wrong, bro. And for these two ex-lovers, for these two guys, bro, right, to be still putting out the Poochie and really the Amir Muhammad theory, because you can't tell this ninja Gina Dill, the biggest bitch on YouTube, you can't tell him nothing about Amir. Ninja, you ain't see the shooting. You're not a credible witness. Gina Dill, you're not a credible witness, bro. You know, that's how I know Gina Dill. He had to be in a classroom with like 6 teachers, right? That's how dumb he was. He had to be in a classroom with like 6 to 7 teachers. Ninja. He's telling us that Snoop was hunting down Biggie. And he still believes Amir. Come on, Ninja. Oh shit. Stop eating pink chips, Ninja. Right? Can we just make this make sense? I'm just using common sense with you guys. Right? How can he believe, unless he got paid to put that nonsense out, how can, right? Gina Dill, I'm talking about the biggest bitch on YouTube. Right? How can he tell the world that Snoop Dogg was hunting down Biggie? Snoop Dogg, he kept asking for Biggie's location, right? What happened to Snoop? Where was Snoop actually when Biggie got shot? We see Gaines. We believe, like, if the Bati Boy YouTuber and his fan base, they want to say this is Gaines, or if this was Gaines hanging out. If the Bati Boy YouTuber trope wants to say, hey, that's Gaines, okay, cool. Because we did see a similar SUV like Sharita Knight. Gaines got assassinated the same way Biggie got shot and Pac got shot and Orlando got shot, right? A drive-by style. Well, let's just focus on Pac and Big. There was the driver that was doing all the shooting, right? And then Gaines, he dies the same way. So if they want to blame Gaines and say, hey, Gaines was there, but okay, it makes sense. Because Sharita Golden Showers, don't forget her, Miss Golden Showers herself, Sharita, she said, look, Gaines was getting paid cash by Snoop. Oh, so if y'all see Gaines, you see Snoop. Can we just make that make sense? It's Friday, y'all. This is Common Sense Friday, right? If they see Gaines, they see Snoop. Does that make sense? Right? That's common sense. I have never been in a classroom and I needed 2-3 teachers to help me learn anything, right? This is common sense, basic math. If you see Gaines, you see Snoop. According to Sharita Golden Showers Knight, she said, look, these ninjas was getting paid cash by Snoop, right? So can we just make that make sense? Does that make sense? If you see Kevin Gaines, you see Snoop. Hey, Najo, that's what y'all call her. Y'all call her Sharita Golden Showers. I'm just following. Hey, listen, man. I learned, man. I follow suit. If that's her proper etiquette, we gonna give Sharita Knight Golden Showers. Sharita Golden Showers Night, right? If that's her proper etiquette, bro, we're not gonna change the narrative, right? Because he was the security. Yeah. So if you see Gaines, you see Snoop. So why Why stop there? That's what I mean. These YouTubers, right? These love, especially these two lovebirds. It's bro. It's been a hell of a 9 years because ninjas like this, they keep spreading the Amir Muhammad theory. They keep spreading the Poochie theory, and it's like we're left behind. We're not advancing in the knowledge, bro. Snoop Dogg wanted his hit back, bro. There was no way Biggie was calling a freaking radio and getting away with that. That's impossible, bro. That's impossible, especially with the handicap rapist YouTuber there, bro. Biggie was not getting away with that. I can't see it. I can't see Biggie escaping his fate. I just can't see it. Bro, I can't see Biggie getting away with that. I just can't see it. I don't believe they was gonna allow Biggie to get away. If you just tapping in, 21 Gun Salute, it's Friday. Let's talk about it. Snoop, I believe Snoop Dogg and Daz Dillinger and Corrupt, even Corrupt, when Corrupt talks about, the shooting and these guys are still emotional about it. I mean, hey, look, y'all almost got assassinated inside of a fucking trailer. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? But we gotta start like these theories are so outdated. The Poochie theory, so outdated. Come on, if you really believe Poochie or Amir got Biggie, I really don't know what to say, man. On a serious note. I really don't know what to say. Like seriously, if you really believe the Poochie theory and or the Amir theory, I really don't know what to say. It just makes more sense that these guys want a retaliation, and these guys, what's up, Primo? All right, these guys want a retaliation, and these guys with Reggie Wright Jr. there, he was not gonna let that ride. It just makes more sense that the retaliation was for the New York shooting, because they could, bro. Biggie, can we just make can we just make this make sense? That ninja Biggie, he was out in L.A. how many weeks, how many months before he got assassinated? They could have been got, bro. They could have been got Biggie. According to Keefe D, he said, if you handcuff me for Pac, handcuff Reggie next to me. This is what Keefe D said. He said, if I go to jail for Pac, handcuff Reggie next to me for Biggie. He's talking about the handicap rapist YouTuber. Handcuff Reggie next to me for Biggie because I know he had his hands involved. And I said, look, the only way a ninja like Keefe D can say, look, handcuff the handicap rapist YouTuber next to me because I know he had his hands involved, is because Keefe D was involved also with the Biggie situation. I believe Keefe D was there to make Biggie relax, to make Biggie get comfortable. I believe that was all a part of the play, the game plan. Rock Biggie to sleep, make him feel comfortable. Reggie, the handicap rapist YouTuber, he tried to say, "Oh, I always thought the Biggie shooting was a retaliation No, oh yeah, retaliation because Biggie didn't pay, right? That's what Reggie was saying. He said, I always thought the Biggie shooting was because Biggie, they didn't pay for the ransom, not the ransom, but the murder for hire hit for Pac. That, the whole South Side was hired to kill Pac. According to the handicap rapist YouTuber, he said he always believed that it was the South Side that killed Biggie. But wait a minute. Only the orchestrator can talk like that. Like seriously, only the ones that orchestrated the Biggie Small shooting can talk like that. Yo, Hughes, what's good? What's going on? If you just tapping in, we're just setting the record straight that you know, these guys are goofy as hell if they believe the Amir or the Poochie theory. And Michael Carlin, I said it before, he needs to be tased. No, Michael Carlin, because he has documents. There's missing case files for the Tupac case, and I'm pretty sure there's missing case files for the Biggie case. And Michael Carlin always brags about the case files he got. That's why he needs to be subpoenaed, tased, beaten, handcuffed, gagged because he talked too much, and dragged into the paddy wagon, right? This guy, Michael Carlin, he's he's he set up Pool to die, bro. Him and this guy, Carpet Face, aka Mr. N-word himself, they set Pool up to die. RJ Pork Shoulder. And RJ lied and said Pool gave him all his case files. I've been very vocal about this. When did Pool, RJ, had time to give you his case files? All we know was Michael Carlin and you, right? All I know is Michael Carlin admitted he helped organize the meeting with the sheriff's department. Now, bro, it's not rocket science. Ladies and gentlemen of Discretion TV 304, right? Discretion 304 TV. It's not rocket science, bro. For Michael Carlin to say, or any one of them to help Poole get an interview with police, right? I can say, okay, LAPD, that's something different because LAPD, as we know, they were technically, involved. But for Michael Carlin, Carpet Face, aka Carpet Head, right, to set Poole up in a meeting with the sheriffs, bro, I was very vocal. The sheriffs has nothing to do with the investigation. The sheriffs wasn't there. The sheriffs the sheriffs, why would Poole have a meeting with the sheriffs? Why? They wasn't in charge of the Biggie homicide. That's how I know Michael Carlin and Carpet Head, they set Poole up to die. It was all a ploy. And the ploy and the plot was, let's get rid of Poole, and eventually we'll get the case files and we can make our own documentaries about it. Drop comments below. We can control the narrative and dictate what Poole files was. So that's The itchy YouTuber. Well, formerly known as the itchy YouTuber. Now I gave him his proper etiquette. The Chichi Man YouTuber that did every fucking bit on his fucking knees. This ninja, right? He tried it. This guy that lived on his knees in prison, right? Scrubbing underwear and shit stains out of underwears and shit, right? This guy. These guys got the case files and they from Pool and they dictated and manipulated and gave a narrative for their own perspective. So let's just say, I don't know. I wonder if Heaven Got a Ghetto, the script, right? And we know in the beginning there's a helicopter and we hear a guy heavily breathing and, we see nurses trying to help him or nuns or, was trying to help him, right? They would take that script and say, hey, you know, the nuns, they wasn't trying to help the guy off the helicopter. They was trying to strangle him. It wasn't really a helicopter. It was, yeah, that's what they did. That's what these guys did I'm talking about RJ Porkshoulder and Michael Carlin. That's what they did. They got the case files and tried to dictate what they think the case files should say or what it should mean. They try to change the whole narrative and make up their own story. And the Chichi Man YouTuber tried it. Yeah, oh my God, I would never forget that show. This ninja had Russell Poole's case files. I think it was his first day. He had the case files that RJ Porkshoulder gave him. And this ninja tried to come up with a whole new theory. It was unbelievable. I think I still got that document from Greg Cadence and Greg Caden and Russell Poole that this Bati boy put up on his show. I believe I still got those documents. If you just tapping in, what's good? 21 Gun Salute. It's Friday, y'all. What y'all dealing with? We're talking about these goofy ass ninjas on YouTube that still believe Poochie killed Biggie or Amir killed Biggie, right? And that's crazy. Bro, that's crazy. That, that's what I'm saying. This whole Pac and Biggie shit, we are so divided in tribes. Bro, we are so divided. We are so divided, bro. Unbelievable. At an all-time high. I don't ever think we ever going to unite because you got ninjas that believe Gina Deal. You got ninjas that believe that Poochie killed Biggie. Crazy. Bro, you got people that say, yo, Gene saw the shooter. No, he did not. Gene wasn't even around the shooter. Right? Gene gives a cigarette to a guy, and the guy mean mugging, right? They was face fucking each other. And Gene say, oh, he's the shooter. That don't mean he's the shooter. Fucking coward. Right? You mean mug a ninja, and then 10 minutes later a shooting happened and they want to blame you. What? How does that work? How does that work? How does that work, y'all? Yeah, Gene said this ninja mean mugged him, so he bitched out and gave him a cigarette. 5 minutes later, there's a shooting, and he believes it's the guy that mean mugged him. What? You a big bitch. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. These two Bati boys. Ninjas went shopping. Niggas cook for each other. Yo, bro, I've never cooked for none of my bros. We order out. You know what I'm saying? We might order some Chinese food or something, right? Bro, I'm not cooking for my bro. What? This nigga Gina cooked a gourmet meal. How? Oh shit. This ninja cooked a gourmet meal for this ninja. Right? Cafe. Yeah. This nigga cooked a gourmet meal for he cooked a gourmet meal for Choke, the Bati Boy YouTuber. Unbelievable. Bro, unbelievable, B. I don't get it. and you know what? Because this generation, you know, there's a bunch of these ninjas like, they're undercover young thugs. They're undercover Bati boys, right? I believe that this generation accepts this Bati boy shit to the next level, bro. Like you can make your album cover, right? You can make your album cover out of Bati boy pictures that you took in jail and be accepted. You can post shit like this on your Spotify, and this new generation is okay with that. You know, the former president, the former president elect gave these chichimans a lot of rights. A lot, it's a shit show right now. So, a lot of this shit is accepted, and then, they believe they theories. Not only is it's accepted, but these Bati boys, right? They're able to, you know, make up theories as they go along that don't make sense. None of their theories make sense. The Poochie theory don't make sense. Their David Mack, Rafael Perez theories don't make sense, right? I'm not saying Mack and Perez are not the shooters of any one of the crimes of Pac and Big. I'm not saying that. But the theories that they make to convince us that Mack and Perez was the shooters don't make sense, right? I believe it's more believable to me. All right, what is the reason for Amir or Poochie to kill Biggie? What is the reason, right? According to the know-it-alls, right? The know-it-alls of YouTube, they said, listen, Biggie was out there like almost 2 months in California before he got shot. Why Poochie would wait until the vibe party? It don't make sense. If they, I lived in Cali 3 years, right? And if Cali gangbangers wanted Biggie dead, Biggie would have never left that radio station. I'm talking about this interview. Hold on. Y'all still here? Y'all still here? I'm talking about this day when Biggie was on the radio dissing the shit out of Tupac. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm not even a Biggie fan. Bro, I'm not even a Biggie fan, and look what I found. All right, so apparently I'm not a Biggie fan. So Biggie was on the radio a couple of times. Oh shit. Oh shit. So the one when he's in the checker shirt, the black and white shirt or whatever, the button up, that's when he was like, anybody got problems with me? Come see me. I'm here. We can handle it. Talking wild shit, right? And then there's the interview where I guess this is the Sway show, if I'm not mistaken. where he's dissing Pac and screaming. He recited the long kiss goodnight. Wow. Oh, again, if them gangbangers out there wanted that man dead, he would have never left either or either, however you want to call it. He would have never left any of those radio stations alive, bro. That's crazy. Yo, I just peeped it. Like, oh, this ninja he was really on his, Biggie was asking for it. Like, no cap. No cap. Bro, this ninja was asking for it, B. Wow, I had no idea that Biggie was on the radio more than once. I thought this was all the same show. Oh, shit. Nigga went to the radio dissing the shit out of Pac. It's a damn shame what happened with Big. Yeah, if you just tapping in, 21 gun salute. We just being straightforward here. And if you believe that Poochie, Suge's bro, Paru, if you believe the murder rap theory, you're goofy. You really need to get evaluated. If you believe Amir Muhammad, right, killed Biggie, you're goofy. The Amir theory and the Poochie theory, that shit is way worse than the body double theory and the helicopter theory, right? Bro, the Amir theory and the Poochie theory is way is out of this way out of this world than the body double theory and the helicopter theory. At least we see a body double and Ninja dressed just like Pac. So that's more believable than the Poochie theory and the Amir theory. Now the helicopter theory, like I showed y'all, there's an airport across the street from the MGM. So again, this Poochie theory and Amir theory, I find it really far fetched. Like it just don't make sense. Even when they went to go investigate Amir Muhammad, right? They allegedly went to his house. Right? They went to Amir's house. They tried to bait him. Amir was like, look, man. Oh, shit. Yo, Brian H. was good. Sleazy was good. Yeah, man, we just, going over these facts. And again, I really believe Snoop hated Biggie and Snoop hated Pac. And the Snoop Dogg New York retaliation is a theory. It's not even talked about. I'm the only YouTuber in my first season and my new season that said, hey, wait a minute. Biggie got shot for that New York retaliation, according to Sharita Golden Showers night, right? That whole other thing. Remember, she and Reggie secretly recorded his co-defendant. She didn't even know she was being secretly recorded. She was like, unless it was that whole other thing. Oh, they was getting paid cash by Snoop. Okay, listen, man. Okay, we get it. Bro, Biggie would have never died if he didn't record the radio. I believe that shit. Bro, they could have been clap Biggie. Let's talk about the Soul Train, not 6 Soul Train Awards. Can we be for real? Can we be for real? If the West Coast had any issues with Biggie, they would have never made it out that parking lot at the 9/6 Soul Train Awards. If they really had issues with Biggie, what they said, Death Row Ninjas was banging Death Row chains on the limousine's window. Biggie would have never made it out the lot, y'all. If the West Coast was really riding like that, right? If they really had a problem with Biggie, it wasn't until Reggie Wright Jr. and his firm, they got the phone call. Puffy and Biggie needed extra security. The security team they had, according to Gina Dill, it wasn't enough. They, you know, again, wow. The biggest bitch on YouTube, the biggest 304, Gina Dill said, Unique Audio Mecca called him from the feds. You got a ninja that allegedly called, well, not allegedly, he admits it, Unique Audio Mecca. He said he called Gina Dill from the feds and risked this program. He risked his federal program that he had and got on a three-way call and warned him and told him to vest up. But wait a minute. Wait a minute. I've said this in the first season. Where is that phone call? How did you know? How did it leak to Unique Audio Mecca inside the feds that Biggie was going to get shot? How do you know? Y'all ninjas is doing your jail time. So you mean to tell me some ninja in the feds got the word that there was going to be a shooting that night or soon in the next 24 hours? So again, a lot of the information is stolen also because according to LAPD, there you go, DEA records, according to Vegas, DEA records, Gina's firm, files were missing. Right? So could that have been inside of the DEA files that, this guy in the feds was given a heads up that there was going to be a shooting? It's possible. I don't know. There's just too many files missing, too many things missing from these cases to show that the police was involved. EXT was good. The jig sticks was good. If you just tapping in, let's talk about it. We just being straightforward. If you believe the Poochie theory, you're goofy. If you believe Amir theory, you're goofy. I don't believe Amir or Poochie had anything to do with Biggie. Y'all been watching too much Gina Dill show. Even Gina Dill, right? Even after he got debunked again, even when Gina Dill just got debunked and Mike Dorsey, the dwarf, right? Mike Dorsey played the original audio of Gene's interview, right? When Gene was interviewed by those cops after Biggie got shot, right? Gene was trying to explain, that he chased the Impala and I don't know why. Who told him to lie? This is ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't get it. So this guy, the dwarf of YouTube, he plays the audio to his audience of the original interview with Gina Dill, explaining to the cops about how he chased the Impala, blah, blah, blah. They were like, wait a minute. There is no hill. You know, they debunked him in 9-6, no, 9-7, they debunked Gina Dill, right? What Gina did was play the delusional role and still was saying Mike Dorsey is lying. But wait a minute, bro. It's audio of you. This dwarf plays the audio of you, Gina. And you still denying the fact that you lied or you try to help cover up some shit. It's just ridiculous, right? It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So Biggie gets shot, and to prove more of my claim that Snoop, it was a part of Snoop's retaliation ploy, his plot to get Biggie. To prove more of my claim, when Puff was supposed to be interviewed, Puff lawyered up. He didn't want to answer no questions. Puff, he went to MTV and said he never hired Southside Crips for security. Lied on national TV. Lied. He said he never hired Southside Crips, and he heard there was an affidavit. Well, Puff said after David, he was after a ninja named David. But you right, Puff said I heard there was an affidavit that he was hanging in Compton and stuff, and But when you dig a little deeper, the fact that Puff told Keefe D to come through at the Peterson that night, and when Keefe D got there, according to Keefe, he said, "Look, when I got to the Peter Pickerson Museum, when he got to the museum and saw Puff, Puff told him, look, the FBI is all over me. Fall back." But wait a minute. Why you invited this guy to your event, right? And then next thing you know, about a half an hour later, your number one artist is assassinated. But when you rewind it back, the last event that he invited Keefe D to, the dog pound was there. So I'm like, yeah, wait a minute. It's obvious that Snoop was literally lining up Biggie to get his through Puff. When Little Cheese gives a statement, Little Cheese said they was in Atlanta in a hotel. No, listen, we know Snoop got Biggie because he gave two different narratives of what happened with Biggie, right? Snoop said he told Angie Martinez he saw. Hold on, y'all. "21 Gun Salute." Let's lock in. According to Snoop Dogg, He gives two or three different narratives of what happened, according to him, his knowledge of what happened to Biggie. What we're saying is, yo, how would you know if you ain't orchestrate or help orchestrate the Biggie shooting? Snoop said, listen, he told Angie Martinez he ran down on Biggie. I guess Biggie was in a hotel in a walker, right? And he was in ATL and he saw Lil Cease in the hotel. And we're saying, all right, how would you know what hotel this ninja is in? Who gave you, he's all the way in ATL. How would you know this ninja was in that hotel if Puffy and gave up that location? Can we just make that make sense? So, according to Snoop, he tells Angie Martinez that he ran down on Biggie and said, look, he went to the hotel room, and he got upstairs. Biggie was in the bed on a walker, and he said, look, I know you sent that hit. I forgive you. But wait a minute. What do you mean? What do you mean? Right? And then Snoop tells Fat Man Scoop in another interview that he saw Biggie. He was at the edge of the bed with a walker, and not once did they talk about the New York shooting. But wait a minute. Which one is it, Snoop? It's either you talked to Biggie about the New York shooting or you didn't. It's either or either, and that's how I figured, like, yo, oh, shit, this nigga killed Biggie. And Reggie Wright Jr., he admitted that Bad Boy called his office, and Reggie Wright Jr., he believes in the eye for an eye. So that theory is more common sense to me, that Biggie died for the retaliation. And Puffy, remember, after, can we keep it 100, after Biggie got shot, because I believe Puff was like, look, I had nothing to do with that. Puff was like, look, I have nothing to do with that. I believe so. I believe Puff was such a friend or foe, right? He was telling Snoop, I had nothing to do with that. Dub Allen was good. I believe so. I believe Puff was like kissing up to Snoop, right? And they became friends. According to Snoop, rest in peace, Kim Porter. Kim Porter, you know, it got to where Kim Porter was actually having, according to Snoop, Kim Porter used to drop the kids over to Snoop's house, right? So I believe that Ninja Puff that was all Biggie. That wasn't me. Yeah, take that. Listen, man, you can take that. I believe so. I believe Puff was giving Biggie location, because you got to think, Snoop is from LBC, Long Beach, right? Long Beach, California. What are you doing in ATL where you're able to find Biggie? How are you able to find Biggie and talk to him about a shooting and say, I know you sent that hit, I forgive you? Wait a minute, right? So after Biggie gets assassinated, what does Snoop and Diddy do? The Steve Harvey show. But wait a minute, why y'all ain't do some peace treaty after at least Pac got assassinated, if you want to believe Pac dead? Where was the peace treaty between West Coast Snoop and East Coast Diddy after Pac? These ninjas waited till after Biggie got assassinated and did some fuck shit. And that makes more sense than any other theory. Any Poochie theory, any Amir theory. The Snoop Dogg retaliation for the New York shooting makes more sense. It's more bricks in that house. Right? It's more bricks in that cart than the Poochie brick. Like, oh, they want us to believe. Because remember, according to the handicap rapist YouTuber, they was offering him immunity. But wait a minute. How the fuck they was offering you immunity and Greg Bacon wasn't even the original detective? right? And he said, according to the handicap rapist YouTuber, he said, look, I told Greg Bacon, you know that immunity y'all was gonna give me? Give it to Teresa Swan, because according to him, Suge's baby moms called him and said, hey, I got a visit by some detectives and they blaming me for Biggie and me and Poochie. And according to Reggie, he says, Suge got you with some shit like that? Mr. Captain Save-A-Ho. Hey, handicap rapist. You one of the biggest 304s next to Gina Dill on this shit called YouTube Streets, right? You get all the Suge Knight sloppy seconds. This ninja said, look, Suge got you with some shit like that. Oh shit, that's what he said. Right? He told the federales, like, he can't believe, he said, Suge got you with some shit like that. Because remember, the theory was that according to the murder crap, right? The theory was that Poochie was hired through Teresa Swan, Suge's baby mom, to get the job done. That was the whole theory, that Poochie was hired through Suge's baby moms. And Reg, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how. I really don't know how. Greg Bacon, these ninjas are master manipulators, right? And Reggie is the master of sloppy seconds, right? Yeah, this ninja said, he told Greg Bacon, you know that immunity he was going to give me? Well, give it to Suge's baby mother. And again, we said this. One of my bros called in on when I had the hotline rocking. He said of all the things she could have admitted, she admitted to homicide. Now, again, where is that confession? Where is it? That's how you know Poochie didn't kill Biggie, right? Wait a minute, huh? Can we just make that make sense? That's how you know Poochie did not kill Biggie. Because if Teresa Swan really took the proffer agreement, right, and et cetera, they would not be talking about no Amir Muhammad almost 30 years later. Come on, let's make this make sense. If she was really the orchestrator and Poochie and all of them, why is they still bringing up Amir Muhammad? Man, they need to stop that shit. And it's really these ninjas. The Bati Boy YouTuber Choke, the biggest bitch on YouTube, Gina Dill, right? These guys, Michael Carlin, right? These guys are the reason why and this guy, these guys are the reason why these cases are not solved and they will never be solved. These guys are the fucking reason. These guys, be seriously. These Bati boys, right? They're the fucking reasons, y'all. They're the reason, right? These chichi mans. Ninjas lived on their knees in jail trying to solve a fucking homicide. Ninja, you need to solve your mental health problem. And why the fuck you dress like you fucking Big Bubba's wife? This ninja's Big Bubba's wife, y'all. He's Big Bubba's wife. Oh shit. Okay. So yeah, this is not a Biggie channel. So, this is not a Biggie channel, so I don't want y'all to think, we're converting over. I just want to set the record straight. You're mad goofy if you still believe the Poochie theory or the Amir theory. You're goofy, B. You need to get your shit and get evaluated. something wrong with you for real if you really believe those theories. Like seriously. What y'all talking about in the chat? No, Joe. What's Gaines in the bow tie? Um, I can I can believe Gaines was the shooter. I can go with that. The Bati Boy YouTuber, he's trying to say that this was Gaines, and what we're saying is, okay, if you see Gaines, Ninja, why we can't see Mac and Perez right here? The Ninja looked like the young David Mack and Rafael Perez. It's just ironic that they just happen to be side by side. Get the fuck out of here. How is two ninjas, the two infamous hitmen from Suge's team, right? All of a sudden, we see two individuals that look like these ninjas at the Peterson after the shooting. I can believe that. I can believe the theory, y'all, that that Malcolm Perez was spotted at the Peterson. If the Bati Boy said he sees Gaines, right? Okay, I'm not hating. I've never said, oh, that's not Kevin Gaines. You taking your Bati Boy drugs again? You trying to grow your breasts? You taking breast enhancement pills? Right? You taking the Chichiman pills too much, bro? Right? He said, look, that's Gaines. That it looks like Gaines. I've never hated. I always said, okay, if you see Gaines, right at the crime scene, okay, we see Mac and Perez, and that girl looked like she could have been that female. She looked like she was also down with them. I guess I'm not saying this Teresa Swan, Suge's baby mom's her alias. I'm not saying it's her, but it looks like that could be a female. You know, ninjas always got a female with crew, right? Dub Allen said, yeah, Gaines was moving super sloppy. Yeah, definitely. For him to have Sharita Knight's SUV on the camera footage, yo, that first season of Discretion, he was a beast, bro. On God, B. That first season of Discretion TV, unbelievable. We was way ahead of our time. Yeah, but there was footage that we had that we saw Sharita Knight's Monterio or a similar SUV. Let's just in case, we just want to see alleged. We seen a vehicle that's very similar, like Sharita Knight's Monterio. When Kevin Gaines got smoked, right? When Gaines, can I get Gaines on the screen? When Kevin Gaines got smoked, right? He was spotted in when Gaines got smoked. Gaines was spotted with not one, not two, not three, but four brand new tires in the back of Sharita Knight's SUV. And I was saying, wait a minute. That SUV Sharita had was a brand new SUV. Why would Gaines need to get new tires and the rims? He changed the whole look of that SUV. Bro, it's obvious Gaines was involved with the shooting of Biggie. It's so obvious, bro. And that's why I never debated when they said that might be gains. I never say, hey, I've never debated it. He got the same forehead too, right? I've never said, oh, that's not gains, right? Because we believe we see gains in the MGM, watching Orlando being apprehended by the security, right? We believe that, right? We believe we see gains walking back and forth in the MGM, right? And I never hated. I never debated it. It just makes sense that when Kevin Gaines got assassinated by Frank Liger, the same way Biggie got shot, that's how you know it's the same crew. The driver, yo, they wet Biggie truck got shot up so much. How did Biggie was the only one that got shot? These guys are professional door hitmen, door busters. These ninjas are door busters, bro. Officially door busters, bro. Right? And Gaines, for Kevin Gaines to be found with four brand new wheels, he was trying to change the look of the SUV. Bro, nobody, not even me, I don't care how much money I got in the world. Bro, I'm not buying brand new tires and rims. Does that make sense? Why would I buy? It's one thing to buy brand new tires, right? Because, I love my tires to be fresh on the road anyway. But to buy brand new tires and rims, you're trying to change the identity of that SUV, right? So, again, that's why I feel Kevin Gaines was involved with the Biggie Small shooting, and look at Biggie truck. Somebody says same pattern. Absolutely, same pattern as Vegas, same pattern as Orlando Anderson, same pattern as Kevin Gaines. Yep. Okay, y'all. This is not a Biggie channel. So I just wanted to make it clear you're goofy as fuck if you believe Poochie or Amir killed Biggie. Okay? The receipt from the steakhouse says it all. Um, the Monty's death row receipt, that's one key part of it. But Kevin Gaines was also found with, I think, check stubs from Sharita or somebody from death row for $10,000, and allegedly, right, Russell Poole and Randall Sullivan, they had a copy of the discovery that they found of that check. Now, where did that check go? It's obvious if we don't see that check in 2026 for the 2027 season, it's obvious the police got rid of that check and the police was involved with the Biggie and Pac. Um, this is how I know Sharita Knight, she and her scheming ass bitches, right? Sharita Knight was involved with the Biggie and Pac. Because when the handicapped rapist YouTuber Reggie Wright presented to her, look, they stated they found some receipts of a check in Kevin Gaines' property when they smoked his ass. She said, oh, that's a lie. That's a damn lie. Well, how did she know? Only the orchestrators can talk like that. She said, that's a damn lie. They fishing where there's no fish. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Sharita Golden Showers Night. Wait a minute. How did you know? Right? I believe Sharita Knight right? When the handicapped rapist YouTuber was secretly recording her, I believe Sharita Knight, she had no idea she was leaking info to both homicides, right? And for her to say that it was a lie that Russell Poole and his crew found, because remember, Poole was the lead detective, right? Poole was the lead detective in the Kevin Gaines, right? And Sharita Golden Showers Night, when she was told that, look, they found check stubs from, I guess, death row or whatever to Kevin Gaines in the amount of 10,000, she's like, that's a lie. That's a whole lie. I believe that she lined up Gaines. Only a mistress or your shorty can get you shot like that. The way Gaines got shot, he wasn't on duty. How did they know how to find Kevin Gaines, his locations? Only somebody like Sharita Golden Showers Night, can orchestrate something like that. I believe so. And for her to say what the detectives found during the discovery in a homicide is a lie, come on, Sharita. You know, some of y'all, you put your own foot in your mouth. You're too smart for your own good, and you feel you gotta have the answers to every questions. That's dumb. Bro, even if you know a lot of the answers, that don't mean you gotta say something. You're incriminating yourself and your crew. A lot of y'all ninjas, you wanna answer every fuck, like Reggie Wright Jr., the handicapped rapist YouTuber. He do not leave any question unanswered. Cause he's the orchestrator. Oh shit. I love y'all, man. Listen, this is not a Biggie channel, and we already told y'all how Biggie got shot. It was a retaliation for the New York shooting. If you think otherwise, that's on you. But don't get debunked. I'ma tap in with y'all. I'ma get me some lunch. I didn't even have breakfast. I was like, yo, let me go live and give y'all live show for Friday. And I just want to set the record straight. I will go live right after my lunch. And yo, let's stay on their neck. Shout out to my new wrench gang. There's the new Discretion 304 TV. All you other motherfuckers, let's stay out my business. Some of you ninjas just call me to be in my fucking business. Stop calling me to be in my motherfucking business. You can't help me. How can you help me? You can't help me. So stay out my motherfucking business. Stop sending me text messages, emails. Stop trying to be all in my motherfucking business. Okay? I will survive. I'm surviving. I'm thriving. I'm surviving. I'm doing me, as you can see, right? I take my L's and I make them into W's, as you can see, right? Worry about me if you see me dressed like this. Wait, hey, okay, all you motherfuckers in my business. Worry about me when you see me dressed like this motherfucker. Or you see me, taking pictures like this, right? Worry about me then, okay? Or you see me hugged up with a ninja like this, right? Worry about me then, okay? But for now, you motherfuckers are stay out of my motherfucking business, okay? Don't get caught up. To my ninjas on the run eating, y'all stay out the way. You hear? To my ninjas on the motherfucking run, you stay out the way. You hear me? All right, y'all stay sucker free out there. Stay sucker free. 21 Gun Salute. We up out of here.